Hey everyone, Keith Carson here. We're going to talk about this storm system that's coming in for Thanksgiving. The National Weather Service has issued winter storm warnings in the shaded pink area for a good part of the state. Then winter weather advisories in the purple. That's where we're likely to see less snow, but still enough to be an impact for travel. The storm right now isn't a whole lot to look at. It's just a low that's moving just south of Memphis, Tennessee right now. It's got rain on the north side, but much like a lot of our storm systems here in Maine, this thing really gets its legs as it moves into the mid-Atlantic and into the Gulf of Maine. So within reason, Maine's actually going to see the strongest version of this storm, at least in the United States, before it heads out into Canada off to the north and east. So that's where the more explosive generation of this storm or strengthening of this storm will come from. So it's worth noting that we're pretty quiet through even early tomorrow morning. Tonight, temperatures drop down to the 30s and 20s and nothing really going on. Clouds just increase. And even tomorrow morning, wake up 7, 8 o'clock. And I think the vast majority of the state is just cloudy but dry. We will see maybe an isolated sprinkle down towards Kittery or Portsmouth, New Hampshire, but most of us here will be quiet. It's not until the mid to late morning from the southwest that precipitation starts to work in. And initially, it's likely to be rain in places like Lewiston and Augusta, areas that will get accumulating snow. It is going to be rain along the coastline with temperatures in the 30s there and stay largely rain. We'll talk about that in a second along the immediate coast. And to the foothills and mountains, though, it'll be snow right from the get-go. During the day, even as this precipitation shield expands, it gets a little bit more intense. It will be snowing at a pretty good clip here by the late afternoon over western Maine and into New Hampshire. But I think the snowfall accumulation here is just not that efficient. So keep in mind, it's still daytime. There's still enough of a sun angle. And it may remind you a little bit of a spring snowstorm where if the sun is out kind of above the clouds there, it's able to warm the pavement up enough that you don't have a lot of accumulation on the roads themselves. And I think that's what happens until just about sunset. Then the sun sets, we lose that heating from the sun, and we also turn the winds due north as that low develops down to the south. And that allows us to really start ripping off snow here after 4 o'clock into 5, 6, 7 o'clock. And we could be accumulating snow at 1 to maybe 1.5 to 2 inches an hour, which is a pretty big number for snowfall rates. And that's where we do a lot of our accumulation inland, foothills and mountains. And even the coast probably crashes the snow briefly, but I think that's going to be hyper local in the sense that over southern Maine, for example, I could see a place like Cape Elizabeth or Scarborough along the coastline staying rain, but Portland or the Deering part of Portland being snow. I think it'll be that close. Still snowing 9 to 10 o'clock in the evening, and then we move this thing out midnight and after, and we're in good shape by Friday morning. So verbatim here, if you look at the European model or the GFS model, which finally got on board after saying there wasn't a storm for days, but that's neither here nor there. Verbatim, this would be a 10 to 14, 10 to 15 inch kind of storm using a 10 to 1 ratio. So we usually think you get 10 inches of snow for every 1 inch of rain, roughly. But when the surface temperatures are really borderline, as they're going to be, that number changes. And so you get maybe 6 inches for every 1 inch. That plus not being all that efficient at accumulating in the afternoon is how I ended up with 6 to 8 inches. I'm actually trimming it down from what the models think. 3 to 6 inches just outside that and across northern Maine, and then a quick gradient right to the coast here of under 1 inch along the coast where, again, we may crash to snow, but we're really going to have a hard time accumulating anything substantial. So for travel, and this will, Thanksgiving, we're thinking about what impact will that have. I think we're really after sunset is the issue. So before that, it's going to be raining along the coast. There'll even be snow inland, but I think the roads are okay until the late afternoon, early evening. Then things do go downhill pretty quickly, I think, once it's dark. Worth noting, by the way, that this snow likely to stick around for a little while as we stay pretty chilly into Friday, the weekend, and into early next week with high temperatures in the 30s and overnight lows in the teens.